WW2.
Hydraulic cylinders slow their fall. They take a full 30 seconds to lock down.
At 1:30 p.m. on July 16, 1942, Resolute was steaming without escort at speed off the coast of South Africa, bound for Simonstown. Aboard her was 7,780 men, predominantly from the 51st Highlander Division destined for North Africa. Unbeknownst to the ship's crew, however, her position had been monitored by U-boats lying in wait for British shipping off the coast. At 1:30, her zigzag course brought her perfectly within the sights of the Type 9 U-boat U-172, commanded by Captain Lieutenant Carl Emmerman. Emmerman fired a spread of 4 torpedoes at an almost perfect 90-degree firing angle. 2 of the torpedoes fell astern, and the 2 others found their mark. Resolute was dealt a crippling blow, with the first torpedo striking just below the 4th funnel in line with the engine rooms, and the second torpedo striking just aft of the mainmast on the bulkhead between 2 watertight compartments. The impact of the 2 almost simultaneous strikes was enormous, and all the safety measures taken in the wake of the Titanic disaster back in 1912 were completely overwhelmed. The inner skin could not hope to hold up against a German torpedo. Many of the engineers on watch at the time of the impact in the engine rooms were eviscerated, and the ship immediately began to take on an enormous amount of water. The automatic watertight doors were engaged by the bridge, but the jarring force of 2 torpedo impacts from the side jammed the watertight doors' rails for most of the compartments aft of the number 3 funnel. With no way to close them, the Resolute was now flooding uncontrollably, and the ship was doomed. Many of the troops quartered low and aft on E, F, and G deck were drowned in their bunks without time to escape, and the ship began to settle in the water quickly by the stern. There was really no time to organize an efficient evacuation, and thousands of panicked men swarmed the ship's upper decks as her stern began to dip into the water just 5 minutes after the attack. With her electrical generators flooded, the ship's interiors were darkened as the backup lighting kicked in, and many of the doorways and staircases were jammed as hundreds attempted to rush up to the boat deck. A few lifeboats were lowered as the crew attempted to regain control of the situation, but most of them remained attached to the ship as the bow began to rise into the air. Just 12 minutes after having been hit, Resolute's funnels began to collapse as water raced up the boat deck. A huge wave knocked men sprawling into the ocean as water surged inside, unhampered by watertight doors. It was only the forwardmost doors that had been able to close, so that by the time the bow was about 30 or 40 degrees up into the air, the ship began to sink slightly slower, giving the crew time to free some of the quick-release Carly floats.
Yep, Resolute's going down fast. Double hull is compromised, so she's lifting over to starboard. contact troops.